Hi, this is Sierra Speaks the podcast to shed light on the importance of holistic wellness, mindfulness, and authenticity. This is going to be a drafted episode that I have. This is intro Sierra talking, so I will let draft Sierra take it away. This is going to be
episode on conscious social media. Take numero uno.
It's hard to be on social media right now. Traumatic information is being passed around at a lightning fast speed, and it's hard to avoid interacting with it all. We are taking a lot in, no matter if you just scroll past something negative or positive, you are still taking it in. The subconscious mind is affected by all of this, and we should be more aware of what sort of imagery we are feeding our minds on a daily basis. A long while ago, I made the decision to be mindful of what I consume on the web. I didn't have the most positive relationship with social media. I felt pretty shy on the internet, and I was afraid to share things because I had parents that warned against it. This didn't override the fact that I crave creativity. I always have. I remember I got a camera for my birthday and just started taking pictures of everything. I love capturing moments in my living room dancing with friends, or just a pretty part of nature. I love capturing it all. It's always been clear to me that there's an overflow of creative energy in me, and I've always been trying to find new and exciting ways to express this. I shifted my focus towards becoming very conscious of what I consume on social media, and in turn, this inspired me to be more creative and active on my own social platforms. Now more than ever, we are spending more time online. It can be easy to fall into traps of comparison and invalidation of the self. It's a perfect distraction, but it can also be a really fun way to showcase your creativity. How often are you scrolling through the gram, liking up pictures of your favorite artist's art, or your favorite singer's songs, your favorite photographer's picture, only consuming that which you enjoy? So I thought to myself, why not invite yourself into their shoes, a place of showcasing my own creative pursuits? Conscious social media is about taking away the mindlessness of scrolling and actually having your platform be a place to intellectually stimulate you and inspire you to step further into creativity. So here are just a few things that I have been doing over the past few years, some tips and takeaways from this conversation around conscious social media that might be helpful in the process of interacting with the media more mindfully. Organize your followers list. Cut down and declutter. So, like I said earlier, it is a time where it's easy to compare yourself to others online. I just recommend unfollowing anyone that has you comparing yourself in any sense, because it's just unnecessary. You don't want to be wasting your energy on that. Minimalism. So this sort of falls under embracing minimalism for me, which for me involves focusing on what is essential for me to be consuming and focusing on what it brings to me. Does it bring me joy? And if not, it can go somewhere else. It can hit the road. So I also put a focus on unfollowing what was repetitive. Like, if people just post a lot of the same things, there's no need for me to be keeping up with them because I know what they're up to. I know what they're up to by this point. So at this point, when my followers list was cut down to a good size and I was really only following people that I wanted to be seeing on a daily basis that would challenge me to think creatively, I started to be able to curate my feed. So when I did this, I was able to search up hashtags, search up things that interest me, and begin to pick and choose what I like, what I don't like, and actually go through the action of liking it. It really helps the algorithm showcase what you enjoy. So this can also be on the flip side. If you keep seeing things that you don't like on social media, but you're still spending your time like hate commenting or just like scrolling and fuming, the algorithm is going to spit that back out to you. It doesn't really know what you're saying, it just knows that you're viewing it. Here's where you can follow what interests you, and I know that Instagram allows you to follow hashtags nowadays, so that's pretty awesome. You can get a variety of people on your feed that you don't know. Maybe you find some new discoveries. I haven't had much luck with that feature so far, but unless it's like local to Philadelphia, but I think it's still pretty cool. So my next tip is to get inspired. So I would hope that the accounts that you follow and the accounts that I followed back in the day inspired me to be active in my own life. What I follow shapes the way that I look at myself. There are points where I want to like change up my fashion or change up my hairstyle, and I know that if I go to my Instagram feed, half the time there's all these cool looking people, cool looking ideas for hair, ideas for fashion, ideas for the home, interior design, all those fun things that I just like genuinely enjoy looking at. The next step in this process is to start creating. I never took pictures of myself. I never took selfies until I realized, and I was like wondering, like, am I photogenic? Like, what the hell? I had no clue until I started actually spending time on myself, giving myself the opportunity to feel awesome and to feel creative. So all of my, first pictures from maybe like 5 years ago, like I literally only started taking selfies like 5 years ago. And my selfies, they just started out like, oh, okay, she's a cutie. Like, just giving face, just giving natural face. But, I specifically like photos, like fashion photos of people that are just walking around nature or just walking around on a really flowery street. I feel like, there are a bunch of pictures like that on the internet, but that's specifically what I was like, oh, I can emulate that. I can freaking like use my self-timer. So I started using my self-timer hella, taking just pictures on the street randomly. I don't care who sees. People walk by me and they don't even look at me crazy. They look at me like I'm having a fun time. They look at me like, oh wow, look at that girl, she's getting it. Like, it's such a positive reaction, and it's such a fun thing to see people just being creative out in the world. It's inspiring. So I love doing that. So I feel a bit lucky to not have grown up in a time like this where literally everything is online. Like, I had a Facebook, but it's not like I had the Facebook app on my phone and I was scrolling through it every day like a lot of children are doing now with Instagram and TikTok and things like that. So I'm pretty grateful to have not grown up around that time because I'm able to put a little bit of distance between me and social media. But I'm super glad that I took the time to flip it and not fall into the hole of comparison and really just dive further into creativity. Like, I'm no photographer, but you could think that I am from my Instagram. Just like gassing my own self up, the whole cast. But yeah, I just wanted to emphasize that social media is what you make it, and maybe consider being more mindful about what you're sharing, about what you consume, because it makes for a more holistic life when you're looking at all avenues and being very conscious of it. So that is what I have today. Thank you so much for listening. It's Intro Sierra again. You can check out my socials at Sierra Speaks LLC everywhere, and make sure to check out my YouTube channel /TheRealSierra98 for my tarot videos and videos that cover topics very similar to the ones that I cover on my podcast. So yes, thank you again. Have a lovely day. Bye.